Last year's election for activities and events, there was a disqualification. The situation there was that one of the candidates overspent on his allowance, so all candidates get £30 for sabbatical officer. And at the end of the period, they submit their receipts to us. He submitted a receipt for £15 for an awful lot of colour A3 photocopies, which it turned out couldn't be done, and we worked out it couldn't be done anywhere that we knew. So anyway, the complaint came in, we made a judgment, we disqualified him. He appealed to our returning officer, who is an external person who works at NUS, who rang up the place, and when he rang up the place they said yes, it was correct. He didn't believe it though, so he actually went round to the place. When he went to the shop, which was a pharmacy, it turned out that the pharmacy didn't actually offer photocopying at all. So at that point it was pretty cut and dry. Probably our most notorious student union controversy, partially election, partially not. We had a sabbatical officer, Chuck, who was our sports and societies officer at that point, co-president. During the election was running again for the role, and had decided to do lots of photocopying again, declared a certain number of photocopies. A complaint came in, and we could literally count the number and find that he had actually printed more. We could just collect them off the walls. Whilst that was going on, we were also looking into a complaint about him in his job about some money that he'd kept hold of on behalf of one of our societies, our Basketball Beyond Borders, who were looking at doing a tour to Africa. And during that process it transpired that he was looking after just over £10,000 in his own bank account. After he got disqualified from the election, he didn't come into work for a couple of weeks. Some photos came up online of him in Rome with a Maserati. We got quite concerned, and long run he had to return the money, but not until we actually took him to court. He resigned from the role, and we actually had to take him to court for theft and fraud, which he finally paid us back on the second day of the court trial, so he got off and is now an estate agent. One of the things about our elections is that we have reopened nominations, which is on all the candidates. They get to, there's always an option, if you don't like any of the candidates you can vote again. Reopened nominations only ever won once at SOAS, and that was a time for our black officer role back in the late noughties, I think it was 2008 to 2009, when someone was supposed to be running with his girlfriend, but when he put his nomination form in, forgot to add her name to it, so he got into quite a lot of trouble with her. So rather than win on his own, he decided to run a reopen nominations campaign against himself and the other candidates to rerun, and it won. You know, people fell for the story, liked the story, so he ran again. However, when he ran again with his girlfriend, someone else ran saying this was a total waste of union money and time, and that person won, so we never won in the first. Probably our biggest financial one. So back in 2005, our rules are a little bit more lax, so we didn't have a rule on exactly how much money you could spend. It just said you shouldn't spend in excess. Obviously different people had different definitions of this. We had a candidate basically spent about £200, which was seen to be too large. One of the things he did in particular was print a large number of clocks and put them around the building, so replace the clocks in classrooms with clocks that just said vote Mushtaq on them. However, he did get disqualified, and it was quite clear what he'd done. You know, he'd submitted receipts which were over £200. Ironically, he spent next year, he was in his second year, so he ran again in his third year, and he won without cheating this time. And he made my life hell for a year because I've been in charge of disqualifying him. Do I think there'll be any controversies in the future? Hopefully not in this one. It's all been very clean this year, so I don't think there'll be any this year. I think there are always going to be people who try it on and do it. One of the good things we have, one of the things I've heard about other student unions, there are two sort of angles. On the one side, there are some student unions where there are quite significant amounts of intimidation goes on around voting. Because it is a job and people want the job, and so that can. The other thing is, you know, because SOAS doesn't have a computer science department, we're never that worried about people kind of hacking the vote. But I do know in some student unions where they do have computer science departments, then there's often been, because it's an electronic vote, they've been hacked. I don't expect that to happen at SOAS unless someone knows someone else who can do it, because everyone at SOAS is terrible at computers.